ठीक है, 16 क्लॉस 3 समझाना है ना, सुनिए ध्यान से। 16 क्लॉस 3 सुनिए ध्यान से, एक बार समझाएंगे, ध्यान से सुनिए। 16 क्लॉस 3, अब सुनिए ध्यान से इस चीज को। इसमें ये दे रखा है, मान के चलिए कि what is given under Article 16 Clause 3 is this. Let's say this is the Union of India, okay? Let's say this is the state of Maharashtra. This is the Union of India, this is the state of Maharashtra, okay? Now, let's say for example, in Maharashtra PCS, this is state of Maharashtra. In Maharashtra PCS, let's assume that there is a, let's say, a job which has to be done. Let's say for example, constables have to be appointed. Okay, let's say the position is for 100 constables. Now, let's say for example, there is a report which is given by the police administration that constables from the local areas are needed to perform certain jobs. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm explaining Article 16 Clause 3 to you. Okay. Let's say in Maharashtra PCS, there is a post for constables. And let's say 100 constables are needed. Now, there's a report, let's say, for example, from the Home Ministry of Maharashtra that constables who are recruited, let's say, for example, if you have to position certain constables in Satara, okay, then it is better that the constables are from the region of Satara itself, so that they help the local administration better. They understand the geography of it, they understand the complexity of it, they understand the language, etc., etc. So a demand is basically made in the report that in the recruitment of constables, 25% of the constables, of the seats in constables, shall be from the region of Satara. What you can say, shall be residents of Satara. You understand? Shall be residents of Satara, 25%. If this kind of a demand is made, that in the admission of constable, 25% of the seats should be reserved for the residents of Satara, the Maharashtra legislature cannot do it. The, what you can call, the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly cannot do it. But the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly or the political party in Maharashtra can ask the Union of India to do it. If this kind of a reservation has to be made, it can only be made by a law passed by the Parliament. So Parliament has to make a law under which 25% of these seats are going to be reserved. Do we understand this, class? Are you taking a look at this, please? Article 16 Clause 3 is what I'm explaining to you. Yes, that is also correct to say that Article 15 applicable to both public and private, Article 16 applicable only to public. You're right about that. Now, if you want just to complement this, read Article 16 Clause 3 once. एक बार पढ़िए इसको. Try to read Article 16 Clause 3 once. Nothing in this article shall prevent Parliament, okay, Parliament, from making any law prescribing in regard to a class or class of employment or appointment to an office under the government or any local authority within a state or union territory, any requirement as to residence within that state or union territory prior to such employment or appointment. So basically, residence based reservations within a state or a UT can only be made by the parliament. It cannot be made by that state, is what I am trying to state. Are we clear now, class? Article 615 clause 3, 16 clause 3. Okay. So let me just, for instance, let's say if I want to take a look at Haryana reservations. This is why it was quashed. Punjab and Haryana High Court on Friday quashed the Haryana government's law guaranteeing 75% reservations to locals in private sector jobs in Haryana. Right? And there are many conditions for this. Of course, first of all, under Article 16, as you're pointing out, only offices under the state are applied. The private sector is not even covered. So, under Article 15 or 16, anyway, the criteria for making residence based reservations can only be done by the parliament, but also it is only for offices under the state. Here the Haryana government is making this for private sector, which is absolutely absurd in comparison to what the constitution is saying. It is a violation of Article 14 of the constitution, equality before law, and is a violation of what you can call Article 19 1G, which talks about equality of, which talks about freedom of what you can say, trade, occupation and profession. Take a look at this. One of the petitions challenged the law on account of the fact that it provides reservation in private employment creates an unprecedented intrusion by the state government into fundamental rights of the employers. Okay, so in private employment, fundamental rights of the employers to carry on their business as state provided under Article 19, under Article 19 1G, that is. It was also submitted in the petition that the law was an infringement of Article 14 of the Constitution. It added that a fundamental wedge is sought to be created between persons domiciled in different states by the statute in question, which is contrary to the concept of common citizenship provided in the Constitution of India. Do we see the point? The Haryana reservation case, again let me repeat it, the government of Haryana giving 75% of reservations to the locals in the private sector is unconstitutional on so many grounds. It doesn't even fall under Article 16, because even if you have to create a reservations based upon residence, you can do it only for employment under the state, and only the parliament can do it. Forget about the question of making reservations in private sector. That is not even entertained under Article 16 of the Constitution. It will be struck out by Article 14, equality before law, and Article 19 1G, right to trade, occupation, profession and business, which is given to all citizens of India. Thus, on the basis of this, as you can see, the High Court of Chandigarh has struck down this order made by the Haryana government.